Hey toy collectors, I'm Kevin, and I've got a question for you. What's best for a brand? Rehashing it or reimagining it? With all the nostalgia toy lines we're seeing these days, a lot of toy lines are getting a new lease on life. I feel like Motu Classics was a really great example where they produced modern, updated versions of classic toys. They changed the scale and the articulation, but they were pretty faithful recreations of the classic toys. They even made versions that were based on the classic animation, which is another thing that would have really appealed to me as a kid. It always struck me as odd when the toys didn't match their cartoon counterparts. Other toy lines get reimagined, like Hasbro is doing with G.I. Joe. The Classified series is redesigning the figures, some more than others, of course. I bring this up because I feel like we are seeing Hasbro lean more towards recreating vintage toys with the more recent releases than they had been with the earlier figures. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, after getting a pretty radical reimagining by Playmates a few years ago, now has lines capturing the exact likeness of vintage toys with updated articulation and paint, as well as toy lines matching their cartoon experience. It's similar to what happened with Motu Classics, but the updated version of the vintage action figures are being made by Super 7, while the cartoon toys are being made by NECA. Ghostbusters is a little different. We're getting basically exact copies of the vintage toys, not with improved articulation or detail, as well as a redesigned line that's a cross between the movie appearances and the old Kenner line. I guess they're holding these for when the movie comes out? I'm not enough of a Transformers fan to be able to truly comment here, but they seem to have multiple lines running at all times that reissue vintage toys, make new toys inspired by the classic toys, and radical redesigns of characters for the kids. Masters of the Universe, which started this conversation, is in an interesting place, and I wonder if Mattel is lifting a page from Hasbro's book of Transformers. We have Motu Origins, which is a fairly faithful recreation of the vintage line, but with additional articulation at the original scale. We have Masterverse coming out, which is a redesigned toy line that's somewhere between Classics and 2000X in detail, articulation, and style. Plus, on top of that, we're getting a toy line based on the Kitty CGI show, which will be a pretty funky reimagining of the way characters look based on the teaser image. What type of line do you prefer? If a toy company was about to revive one of your favorite smaller lines from the 80s or 90s, what would you like to see? Reissue the old toys? Rehash the old line by making modern figures that are faithful to the original? Or totally reimagine the line? You could go almost any direction on a line that hasn't seen the light of day for years. For brands like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Masters of the Universe, which have had extensive toy lines every so often, the manufacturers are probably looking for a new way to sell the same characters to fans. How many times can the manufacturer get fans to rebuy the main hero from a toy line? Think about it in your own collection. How many Lion-O's do you have? How many Optimus Primes? How many Luke Skywalkers? How many Jason the Red Rangers? How many Leonardos from Ninja Turtles? Who else is up here that you've bought in multiple form factors? Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe. Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching this video. I love hearing your guys' opinions on these kinds of things.